Do you want to know what nostalgia sounds like? That is right, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I am talking about the classic Xbox 360 2D beat-em-up side-scroller experience, Castle Crashers. This game was made by the Behemoth and released on the Xbox 360. It came out all the way back in 2008. I first played this game when I was in elementary school. I played it split screen with my friend on Xbox 360, and oh my, it was a blast. This game is one wacky adventure. You play either by yourself or up to 4 people as one of the 4 magical knights. Their color represents their magic. Blue is ice, orange is fire, red is electricity, and green is poison. You're jamming out until a guy tactically rolls down the staircase and this evil wizard guy steals the king's big crystal thingy. Yep, that's the story. Get the crystal back and save the 4 kidnapped princesses. That's it. Did you expect a complicated story? I mean, there's a bit of a plot twist at the end, but the story's not important. You've got people to beat up. You've got a map full of levels to complete and princesses to make out with. You don't need a story. Anyway, the fighting is fun, and as you level up, you unlock combos you can use to fight with. Honestly, it has a surprising amount of depth, considering you're probably just going to lift enemies off the ground and repeatedly throw them against a wall until they die. The game also has light RPG elements, as leveling up gives you points you can put into 4 categories depending on what you want to improve. Agility improves speed and the bow, strength is for melee weapons, defense is health, and magic will grant you better magical abilities. You can focus on what you want to do and make your own playstyle. The game's overworld is where you move on to new levels, go to stores to buy things, and replay levels. Throughout the game you will find weapons and pets. Weapons will increase certain stats and have some special traits like elemental powers or critical attacks. The pets will give you advantages like increasing stats, finding things for you, or helping you in combat. This game radiates style and charm. The artwork is great and charming. The locations and the characters are all great. Just the whole world is so entertaining, never taking itself too seriously as well. The design and artwork is just fantastic. The weapons, the pets, the enemies, the bosses is all just so charming with its own distinctive style. It's got that cartoony feeling, but also has its own unique look. Now, before I go on to the later aspects of the game, I've got to recommend this to anyone who has not played this game. If I had to choose a game that I could experience for the first time again, this would be high on the list. If you have not played this yet, do it, especially if you have friends to play it with. It is such an enjoyable experience. It has an overwhelmingly positive review on Steam. So does its DLC, which is just new characters to play as. Overwhelmingly positive is not common on Steam. It's a pretty good indicator that something is very, very good. So the fact that both the game and just its add-on characters have it should say something. Anyways, to get back to the game, the pure chaotic energy in this game is amazing. It's so perfectly cartoonish, and some of the scenarios are just so insane. My favorite, which I think should sell this game to anyone who hasn't played it, you catapult onto a castle only to discover it's a wedding with one of the kidnapped princesses. You crash the wedding and fight the groom, who plays an organ that shoots cannonballs. After you murder him, his best friend isn't too happy about that, and then takes the princess and attempts to flee on a carriage. You then use the cannon organs to launch yourself out a window and land perfectly on the carriage. This game just has a weird effect of making you feel really cool. Like the part where the final bosses just raise their castle into the sky and your character just decides he can fly now. The bosses in this game are incredible. All of them are unique and they're pretty creative. You fight a battering ram, a literal catfish, a dragon puppet, a piece of corn, and Bob Ross.
It must have been something I ate.
And even just the standard enemies you fight change depending on your location. There's the thieves in the forest who will constantly bow spam you, the fire demons of the lava world, the ninja pirates, the fish people, the ice guys, and the people in the desert with their stupid volleyball game. It is a 2D game. How am I supposed to tell where the volleyball will land? Whew, anyway, they all fit their setting and the world perfectly. And the music. The music in this game is, I don't even know how to describe it. It's in my top 10 greatest game soundtracks. I don't know how else to put it. It is so good. It is absolutely iconic. Just so many different styles of music, and it all fits perfectly into the game. The game had many composers, but one who did a lot of it was Waterflame, who I'm just mentioning because they made another musical icon of my childhood. I adore the soundtrack of this game, from the epic sounding, more inspiring tracks, to the kinda spooky ones, or to the satisfying music that plays after you defeat a boss. first when you're collecting gold, and then the song that plays when the stats come up. It's beautiful. Every time I hear it, I can think of where in the game it is, and my head is filled with good memories. The initial journey from start to finish will keep you entertained the entire way. The levels and the challenges you face keep you engaged. The last section of the game in particular is one I'd like to talk about. Again, your dude sees the castle start flying in the air, and he's just like, yeah, I can jump that high. You fight your way in and discover 4 doors, 3 of them being locked. The first one is, as previously mentioned, the Painter, who I called Bob Ross. It's an alright fight, but is there like an actual way of defeating his paintings without taking damage? Also, as far as I know, the Painter is not in the game previous to this, so he's just kind of randomly introduced and thrown in as a boss at the end. Next is the Undead Cyclops. He uses a coffin as a pogo stick, so pretty cool fight in my opinion. Then comes one of, if not the greatest boss fights in the whole game, the Necromancer. This is the Sans fight of this game. This is the Sans fight before Sans or Undertale even existed. This fight is, what I would say, harder than the actual final fight, and the music that plays during it, dude. Just like Sans fight music, it is better than the actual final fight music, and one of, if not the greatest track in the entire game. It's actually probably the song playing right now in the video. The fight starts with not fighting the Necromancer himself, but him raising the dead to fight you. Normally, I hate this kind of thing in a boss fight. You know, the villain going away and sending minions in. Here, it both makes sense for the character, seeing that he's, you know, a Necromancer, and just the music and overall chaos of it makes it super fun. Then, when it's actually time to fight him, he doesn't do any cheap moves, or even moves that you can't do. Just like you, he has a melee weapon, a shield, and magic attacks. And it's a pure 1v1 fight. There's no other unique boss moves here, it's just you two with the same skills duking it out. Pure genius design in my opinion. So, just had an amazing fight, and now, well, we have the final fight, the end of it all. How could the final boss top that fight? Well, it kinda doesn't. It's a multi-phase boss, as in he has multiple health bars. Initially you just fight these crystals, not him. Then he has this stupid bubble phase that's just more annoying than anything. Then he just turns into a ball and starts floating, and boom, chest comes down. Well, that wasn't very exciting for the final boss. I kinda expected a bit more. To this fight's credit, when I was a wee lad first playing this game, that scared the crap out of me. However, he then turns back into the floating ball, which kinda sucks. But after, he reaches out for his sword, and I'm thinking, oh shoot, it's gonna be a 1v1 fight, just like the Necromancer. Nope. He runs away from you, jumps in the air, and uses this super annoying meteor summoning move. But whatever, you beat him, get the giant crystal thingy, seriously what is that thing, and grab the princess. And then comes this amazing credit scene where you go past all the levels you've been through and past all the enemies you've fought. It's a great cinematic and fulfilling way of showing how far you've come. And that's it, you have a nice celebration in the room you started in, and go to the last princess and receive quite a shock. This is actually just great. I remember the first time I saw this, and it was just the funniest ending to the journey. But that's not all. Beating the game as one of the 4 knights unlocks you a new character, and then beating the game as that new character unlocks another new character. Castle Crashers has insane replayability because it has so many characters. Plus, if you return to the game as a character you beat the game with, you get Insane Mode. You better get ready, you're now in 2D Dark Souls. If you thought you were good, this mode will test that. For the sake of this video, I replayed the game as the Orange Knight, but I'm the Blue Knight through and through. Not because I like his magical ability, I don't use magic. I chose him for a far superior reason, I like the color blue. But anyways, my Blue Knight is level 60 something, and I can't get past this one level that's pretty early on in the game. Also, Insane Mode unlocks even more characters. For example, if you beat the Industrial level on Insane Mode, you unlock the Necromancer as a playable character, which sucks because I really want to unlock him, but I can't because I can't beat the level. Alright, to kind of wrap this up, Castle Crashers is an absolute icon from the Xbox 360 days. This game received great success and great love. I love this game to death, and I've always had a good time playing it. I'm sure it still has a large fan base. One thing I would absolutely love to see one day is a sequel to Castle Crashers. The Behemoth, the studio that made Castle Crashers, currently is working on another Alien Hominid game, which shows they'll work on sequels or just more games in the same series. I think this shows that there may be a chance for another Castle Crashers one day. When? I don't know, but we can only hope. That was all, folks. I hope you enjoyed.